You ever notice how the loudest person in the room is usually the weakest one? Yeah, because noise is often a cover. Quiet people don't look impressive. They don't sell their intelligence. They don't fight for attention like a starving dog. But here's the part most people can't handle. Some quiet people aren't shy, they're loading. Today I'll prove it with 4 quiet geniuses who changed the world while barely speaking. And at the end, I'll give you the one trait that makes quiet people dangerous in any room. Let's get something straight. Not every quiet person is smart. Some are quiet because they're lost. But the smartest people, they're often quiet because they don't waste words. They listen, they observe, they think in systems, and they can sit with a problem longer than your attention span can survive. Loud people chase dominance. Quiet people chase truth. Before we start, remember this. Society rewards volume, not value. School rewards the kid who answers fast, not the kid who answers right. Work rewards the person who talks in meetings, not the person who thinks between them. So quiet people get labeled as soft or invisible, and that label becomes a prison. But the world doesn't run on labels. It runs on results. Here's the pattern you're about to see in every story. Quiet intelligence is usually misunderstood first, then respected later, and finally feared when it starts winning. And one more thing. These people weren't quiet because they lacked confidence. They were quiet because their brain was busy doing heavier work than small talk. Now 4 proofs. Einstein wasn't the look at me type. He wasn't trying to win arguments at dinner parties. He was trying to rewrite reality. As a kid, people thought he was slow. Not because he was dumb, because he was different. See, some minds don't process fast. They process deep. Einstein didn't talk to look smart. He thought until the problem started screaming. While most people were memorizing formulas, Einstein asked, what if the rules are wrong? That question alone is a punch in the face to average thinkers. And then he did what quiet people do best. He sat with the question, alone, for a long time. No drama, no motivational quotes, no grin-sit nonsense. Just focus. And out of that silence came ideas so big, they still confuse people today. Space-time, relativity, a new way to understand the universe. Here's the punchline. Loud people win debates. Quiet people change physics. Einstein quick detail, people skip. He used thought experiments. That's the ultimate quiet person weapon. No team, no budget, no applause. Just the ability to simulate reality in your head and test ideas until they either break or become gold. While others needed labs, Einstein needed a chair and silence. That's humiliating for the average mind. And notice how his confidence worked. He didn't need to be loud. He let the math do the yelling. When you can prove your point, you don't need to perform. Now Newton wasn't social. He wasn't friendly. He wasn't trying to be liked. He wasn't building relationships, he was building laws. And when the world got chaotic, when people panicked, Newton did the opposite. He isolated. He worked. He thought. This is what weak people don't understand. Solitude isn't loneliness for a focused mind. It's power. Newton sat down and built the foundation of classical mechanics. The rules of motion, gravity, calculus tools that still run engineering, physics, and modern technology. While the average person needed noise to feel alive, Newton used silence to build a machine called reality. Here's your lesson. Crowds create trends. Quiet people create foundations. And foundations outlive trends every time. Newton, another detail. He was obsessive. Quiet people often get called overthinkers. Newton took that overthinking and turned it into laws that make bridges stand and rockets fly. The difference between a nervous overthinker and a quiet genius is simple. One panics, the other builds a model. Maria Curie. No flexing, no attention seeking, no loud ego, just brutal discipline. Curie wasn't loud because she didn't need to be. She had something rare, focus that doesn't break under pressure. She worked in conditions most people would quit in 5 minutes. Not because she enjoyed suffering, because she cared about the mission more than comfort. She dug into invisible forces radioactivity when most people couldn't even spell it. And she didn't just make a contribution. She became the first person to win 2 Nobel Prizes in different sciences. 2 awards, and still, she wasn't out there screaming, "Look at me." Because real achievement doesn't beg for validation. It speaks for itself. Punchline, quiet doesn't mean weak. Quiet can mean unstoppable. Curie, this one hits different because it's not just brain power, it's endurance. She didn't have comfort. She didn't have easy resources. She had a mission and a spine. Quiet people with weak discipline stay quiet forever. Quiet people with discipline become monsters because they outlast everyone. Tesla was different. Not the quirky for attention kind of different. The real kind. Tesla didn't play the social game well. He wasn't a politician. He wasn't a smooth talker. He was a thinker with a brain wired for the future. And because he didn't fit in, people dismissed him. That's what insecure crowds do. They laugh at what they can't understand. But Tesla's ideas weren't small. They were massive. AC electricity, foundations for modern power systems, concepts that shaped technology long after his time. Tesla proved something that hurts average minds. Sometimes the quiet person isn't behind, they're ahead, and you're just too slow to see it. Punchline. One correct idea beats a room full of loud opinions. Tesla, here's the uncomfortable truth. Being ahead of your time is lonely. When you see what others can't, you sound crazy if you talk too early. So what do? You shut up, you build, you test, you refine. Quiet isn't fear here. Quiet is strategy. Tesla didn't need approval from people who couldn't even understand the question. Now here's the twist. Quiet people aren't smart because they're quiet. They're quiet because they do something most people can't do. They delay gratification. They don't rush to speak. They don't rush to judge. They don't rush to perform. They sit there, collecting information, connecting patterns, waiting. While loud people spend energy trying to be seen, quiet people spend energy trying to be right. Now, let me give you the danger trait in one sentence. Quiet people can tolerate boredom. They can sit in silence without reaching for dopamine. That means they can learn longer, practice longer, and refine longer. And in the long run, boredom tolerance beats talent. Most people can't do deep work for 30 minutes without checking their phone. Quiet people can do it for hours because they're not addicted to being entertained. That's why they lap you, and that's why they're dangerous.